Greetings, Cleveland, and welcome to Creative Focus, the show that illuminates some of Cleveland's most talented and creative artists across the genres of dance, film, music, theater, and visual arts. I'm your host, Cornell Calhoun III, and I'm thrilled to have as my guest today on Creative Focus, producer, casting director, the creator of the Tina Hobbs style, Miss Tina Hobbs. Tina, welcome to Creative Focus, girl. Let's chop it up.
Thank you so much. It is a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
It's my honor to have you.
Thank you.
So let's get right into it. So now you graduated from Shaw
High
Cardinal,
School,
right?
Yes.
Was Coach Hines there when
He
you were there?
was.
Leon Hines.
He was. Coach Hines is and still is such a prominent person for Shaw High. He was there. He mentored kids. He was always a source of just encouragement and you can do it. So he probably don't know all the names of the people that he has touched being, from Shaw High. But yeah, he was
he's a special guy because I was coaching the Glenville girls and he was coaching the boys at Shaw. And we just struck up a friendship. Yeah. And we should exchange T-shirts. Like I would give him a Glenville T-shirt and he would give me a Shaw
that
T-shirt.
You never wear?
I never wore around Glenville, but
Exactly.
I was just wondering about that.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
So tell me, this is a question I've always wanted to ask you.
Yes.
What is Tina Hobbs style? Explain
that
for me, because that's a fabulous genre. I love that.
Thank you. So actually, when I started in the casting business, I had a business partner, and we called ourselves Cleveland Casting, and merge vision with style. Okay. And so when we kind of parted ways amicably, she went a different direction. I continued with the casting. I just kept the style part. So, Tina Hobbs, casting your vision with style. So
okay,
that's where that comes from.
That's great. I've always wanted to ask you that question. So what inspired you to go into casting? Because, that's unique.
It is. And you know what? It's not something that 10 years, or I think I've been in the business for like 11, 12 years now, that if you'd asked me 12 years ago, or you'd said, Tina, you're going to be a casting director someday, I would have said, no. I was, definitely about, business, corporate America. I was running that track. And then I found myself in a position where I was working for a company that they said was too big to fail. So for the first time since I was like 14 years old, I found myself without a job, downsized. And this business partner that I mentioned, her name is Dee McGee. Hey, Dee McGee. She encouraged me to go and be an extra on the set of Alex Cross. And if you remember Alex Cross, yes. It starred Tyler Perry, but yes. He wasn't Medea. It didn't do well because I think everybody was waiting for him to crack a joke. Right. And it was a very serious role for him. But I was on that set for 2 weeks, and she and I just kind of looked at each other and was like, we could do this, And so from there, it just kind of,
because they shot part of that movie in the old 3rd District Police Station, yes. Which is now our safety building. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, I was on set for 2 weeks. And if you actually look at the movie, I have a really great shot. And not because I was the best extra, because I was not a good extra. If I was the type of extra, I would be like, you can't come back. Because I was just so fascinated with what was going on around the scenes. And I made friends with the camera guy, and I was asking him all kind of questions. And then at one point, he was like, I want you to sit there, and I want you to stay there, and I don't want you to move. And I think that was his way of getting me to shut up. But it actually ended up being a really good shot, and I had a good cameo in the movie. So I don't know if it was a favor he was doing or if he was trying to get me to shut up. So.
And you like to travel a lot too. I know. Yeah, because I saw a photo, this magnificent photo of you in Greece.
Yes.
Yeah, that photo is crazy, man, crazy. So does that somehow incorporate in what you do in casting? Do you get any ideas from traveling, for casting?
Absolutely. As a producer, part of my job, I call myself the puzzle maker. So I need to visualize what the writer has put on the paper and make it come to life. And so I think traveling, meeting people, and being resourceful is very important and helps me tremendously as a producer. So traveling, the benefit is I just love it. If you tell me like we're going somewhere,
I know. Every time I go on your page, you somewhere. I'm like, man, no wonder I can't get in touch with this girl. She's gone.
So Greece was fabulous.
I got a generic question, a couple of generic questions for people who might be out there auditioning. So do you believe that, or do you think or feel that an actor should dress the part when he's coming for an audition for a film, like for one of your films? Do you think that helps?
So I think a casting director should be able to look past that. Mm-hmm. But I think it does not hurt to help the casting director with the vision. So if it's it's a role calling for a police officer, and you have a police uniform and you can come up and, just really encase that role, that does not hurt at all, because it does allow, it helps the casting director with the vision and to be able to see you in that role. So the only thing that you want to be mindful of is not to overdo it. Like sometimes I find people who come and they're distracting, it has nothing to do with the role. I think they want to be memorable, but you can also be memorable in the wrong way. So, it's just a fine balance. Yeah, but it doesn't hurt.
So as a producer and a casting director, do you think those roles like merge? Does that help you when you have a vision for a film, because you're also casting and you're also the producer? And how often, two-pole question, and how often do you think producers, let me put it like this. If I'm a producer, am I more apt to take your character that, you feel has the part, or should I, or will a producer say, well, no, I think I like Tommy better than John? Or how does that work?
Yeah, so production companies vary. So some production companies put full faith in their casting director, and they say, hey, these are these are the characters we need, these are the descriptions. They may say, give me your top 3 or something like that, and then they'll make the final decision. And then there are some production companies that want to be involved at the very beginning of the process, from the very first auditions. So I actually like the first type of production company better, because I do think as a casting director and a casting director in your area, you do know the talent. You do know who's professional, who is talented, who's going to bring that role and give you the most bang for your buck. So, but yeah, it varies.
It varies. So sometimes you'll have a producer who will request somebody, or sometimes they just put their whole faith in you.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then when I'm the producer and the casting director, it makes my job even easier.
You were casting director for a film, Swing Lowe, Sweet Chariot.
Yes.
That was just a fabulous film.
Did you see that film?
I saw that film like 3 or 4 times.
Oh, yeah.
Because 3 of my actors were in it.
Oh, that's
Carla
right.
Macon,
That's right.
Falia Thomas,
Yeah.
and Daryl Tatum. And at the time, I didn't know Daryl.
Oh,
I met Daryl's brother, and Daryl's brother was like, he knew I was in the theater. I primarily was doing theater then. And he said, hey, my brother was in a film. Yeah. And I said, well, let me see it. So I actually bought it. I think he charged me like $10.
Okay.
I bought it. There's a great story behind this. And I watched the film, and it was so fabulous. Now, I didn't know Carla or Falia at that time.
Okay.
But I really loved the film. And then later on, Mike Oatman was directing Jitney, and we needed an actor. And I said, hey, I know a guy. I saw him in the film, and I called Mike, and he called Daryl, and Daryl got the part.
Yes, all 3 of those actresses and actors are amazing people, and grew up with me in the industry, because Swing Lowe was one of the first productions that I ever produced. and cast for. And I remember Falia coming in to the audition and just knocking it out the park, and Daryl just knocking it out the park and being so committed on set, because that's so helpful for a producer or a production company when you have, actors who come in and they're like in 100%. Like Falia was doing her own rehearsals and organized. Like she was just kind of just, she took that film by the rain, and it became such a classic. There's so many people that come up and say, hey, I've watched that film multiple times. That was awesome. When is Swing Lowe 2 coming out? Yeah. So shout out to HWIC Filmworks, who are the production house behind that, John Del Cerrone and Dave Snyder, who I love and worked with multiple times. But yeah, that was an amazing experience for me.
Yeah, so let's take a look at the trailer from Swing Lowe, Sweet Chariotte. Yeah, I can tell you like that film.
WWOL 103.6 on your FM dial. Smile for a while. This is your man Johnny Specials right here.
That was incredible work.
It was fun. It was a learning experience. A lot of stuff that I do now, I learned from Swing Lowe, Sweet Chariotte. So yeah.
What is something that you feel an actor must do to impress a casting director for a film or a play?
For me, the biggest thing is professionalism and following directions, because being able to follow directions for a casting call gives a lot of insight on how that person will be on set. So if you see an audition notice, you read it over thoroughly, you come in, you're prepared. If there were sides, you've looked at the sides, you understand the character, and you have just really followed the directions, So for me, that is the most important thing, sometimes just as important, if not even more important than talent.
How often has, say, an actor come in and you look at the actor and say, hey, I don't think he's got the part, and then that actor changes your mind with the audition, or maybe in the beginning of his monologue, or what he's doing for you, you kind of have your doubts, but then at the end you say, that's the guy. How often has that happened?
All the time. I tell people that, and I even tell directors and people who are with me, because sometimes they want to go in and they see an actor, and I tell them to resist the urge to give a part, right then and there. Like, let's talk about it, let's review it. Let's not, because sometimes you see an actor and they just do such a great job and they want to say, you got the role. And I'm like, do not, use your best poker face. Because that does happen all the time, where you'll get someone to come in. Because I also encourage actors that may not exactly fit the description. Like, maybe this role called for a white female, but you have a black male who comes in for the role. I always tell the writer and the production team, no one's seen your script. They don't know what this character is supposed to be. So if this person can bring that character to life, then that's absolutely okay. And I've had actors come in and, they come in and they don't, like you said, they don't look the role. They may start off a little slow, but we may say, come back for the callback. And then at that callback, they just kind of just tear it up, because they're familiar with us now. They know our style now, and they're more comfortable. the second time around, and then they can just, just kind of show us what they got.
Okay, I'm gonna take you back.
Yes.
2015, the summer of 2015, the first time you and I worked together. Mike Berry film,
Okay.
Banger.
Ah!
And we've worked with Mike a lot. Right?
Yes. We partner on a lot of stuff. He's fabulous.
I got to get him on the show too.
Definitely.
He and I were on a panel for Yvonne Pointer.
Okay.
Visions of victims of violence.
Yeah.
And we did the film portion of the panel.
Okay.
So I gotta get him on. But Banger was that's the first time we worked together.
It was.
And do you remember much about that film?
I do. Banger was what we considered our first like real budgeted film. Like we actually had a couple dollars to work with. And so we were like on a mission to put some production value into that film. So if you remember, we had like motorcycle gangs and all these locations. And I think you were like in the restaurant.
Right, in the restaurant with Melissa.
Yes.
With Melissa.
Yes. So yes, I do. I fondly remember that set. Yes.
Yeah, it's a great film.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at the trailer for Banger. Mike Berry, Tina Hobbs.
What up, Mike?
They call me Circus, but I ain't here for your entertainment.
They call me hip hop. I and I alone say what shake and what don't.
My brothers. Good day for a drug deal, wouldn't you say?
And on the other side of this bridge, it's a whole different world. A world where fucking renegade thugs prey on the weak, take advantage of the helpless, and hurt their own.
I ain't working with them backstabbing motherfuckers.
We gonna run this time. Not just the east side either, the whole thing.
State and local officials are doing everything we possibly can.
I mean, you do want to wear these colors, don't you?
Ishmael, listen to me. These boys are bad. You really don't want to...
Don't want to have friends? But I got a plan. Lure them all out, deal with them all at once.
So, where's your posse at? You're fucked up now, Dorothy.
You want me to believe that you walked into an alley by accident? Right into a triple homicide.
I've been hearing on the streets that this kid's mom is into some serious, wicked voodoo shit.
Did you know anything about voodoo, that sort of thing?
May the dead be risen to judge his oppressor. And to those who would harm me, may they be taken away.
Fucking bangers.
Yeah, great film. So what are some qualities that you look for in an actor, whether it's an experienced person or inexperienced? What are some qualities that you feel a person must have to be successful, in your opinion?
So I am actually very open to working with green actors, like actors who have not been on set, who've never done anything before, because I think they have not learned a lot of bad habits. Like they're like, easier to kind of, transform or mold into the type of actor that I think is successful. But I do make sure that they are professional. Sometimes when you get green actors, they don't understand that there is money in these sets. So being late, not knowing your lines, not showing up, like those are huge things that cannot happen. So I think that's the only issue that I have sometimes with green actors, is that they don't always have that understanding. But fortunately, knock on wood, I've had like great experiences with actors. Cleveland is so talented. Yeah. There's so many talented actors. we, just as soon as we think we have a handle on the talent pool, we have an audition, and then there's just a whole group of other actors that come in. So I'm so fortunate. I love all the actors that I've worked with, had great experiences. And I haven't a bad thing to say about Cleveland's talent pool.
Did you cast for the play Jada's Journey?
I did. Well, one of them,
What was the one that you cast was Carlin that?
Yes.
Okay, right.
Yes,
okay.
yes. With DK Ward. DK Ward is amazing. She is a playwright here in Cleveland. She is probably one of the other reasons why I got started in this industry, because she cast my daughter in her play, The Blacker the Berry. I love that play. My daughter was like 10 years old at the time. Like I said, she's 23 now. And then in her next play, she was like, Tina, I think you should be in it. And my role went from this little appearance to like the lead. I don't know how she did that. But but yeah, before Alex Cross, I did dinner theater with DK Ward.
So when's the last time you were on film or on stage?
I try not to be.
Come on, tell me. So was that the last time, that dinner theater?
Well, other than the extra role I did in Alex Cross, before that, I was the lead in a dinner theater called Men, Women, and Motown, alongside Michael Bell. I don't know if you know Michael Bell.
I think I know Michael Bell.
Yeah, so he and I played a husband and wife, and we were having issues at at a show, and the music around, the Motown music around, kind of brought us back together.
Do you see a difference in casting for theater as opposed to film? What's the biggest difference that you see?
So I think the casting is very similar. The way the actors act is definitely the biggest difference. So for theater, you have to be expressive and big, and your hands, and project, because you are acting for the person at the very, back of the room. Whereas with cinema, with film, the camera catches everything, so you can be a little bit more subtle with your actions. But I will say that I love theater actors. I think a theater actor it's easier for a theater actor to transition to a film actor than a film actor to transition to a theater actor, just because of the discipline that it takes to be, in theater. And I can always say, pull it back a little bit, where sometimes it's hard for a film actor to push it up a little bit. So
yeah, that's a great way to put that, because I get in arguments all the time with people who say theater actors aren't stunned for the film, for film.
Oh yeah, they are amazing. What do you think about your big actors? You think about Denzel Washington, Viola Davis. Those people came from theater,
the stage,
and you can see it when they're acting. Denzel, King Kong. That's a theater line. That's not a film line. That is a theater line. So yeah, it works on film as well.
So I want to talk about another Mike Berry film. We're giving Mike all kind of props
Mike,
today.
what's up? Mike is he's amazing.
A phenomenal film, State of Mind.
State of Mind.
Talk about that.
State of Mind is Mike's passion project. I remember when he gave me the script, and I said, this is deep. I don't know that people are ready for this, but it has to deal with mental illness. And it does so, though, in an entertaining way. Like, there's a storyline going on, but it really addresses the character and how he deals with his his progression, taking care of his mental health. And it also deals with how the people in his circle view it. And it's real. It's real life. And that film touched so many people. And the lead character, Imani Kyrie, amazing actor. And he pulled that character out and owned it, and that is another film that's very near and dear to me. It does very well too. Still,
And that film, you were you the producer on that film?
Producer and casting, yes.
Casting director.
Yes,
How long did it take to complete that film? Do you know?
So I
Roughly?
usually spend a lot of time in pre-production, just
Okay.
because I think that's key to making the process go. You know, there's anything that could happen on a film happens. So you try to plan, in advance as much as possible. But the actual principal photography, I think, was 15 days.
Oh, 15 days.
Yeah.
How often are you on the set when you're just the casting director as opposed to being the producer?
So if I'm the casting director, usually that means that I've done my job before principal photography, and now that actor has a contract directly with that production company, and I can move completely away from the process when I'm the casting director. I can come on the set, but usually the production company takes over at principal photography.
But now, as a producer, how often are you there?
I'm generally there, and especially on independent films, because what people don't realize on independent films that the budget is super, super low. So my job is to make sure that all the pieces fit. So if there's a piece that's not there, guess who takes over that job?
Right.
So if the props don't show up, I got to run to go get props. So if catering doesn't show up, I'm calling, Chick-fil-A and ordering. So I'm on set quite a bit. Yeah.
Well, let's take a look at the trailer from State of Mind.
State of Mind.
Again, Mike Berry, Tina Hobbs.
Mom, stay here.
Raymond, you all right? So, what's up with Darius?
He's going through something and I don't know what to do.
What is he saying?
He ain't saying much.
Depression can be brought on for any number of reasons.
Dear Darius, you're too young to completely understand why I did what I did. I don't want you to ever think that it was because I didn't love you.
I don't know what I'd do if you die, Pops.
You gotta be stronger, cuz.
Strong like who, Fred? My Pops killed himself. You know that? I just need for it to ease up.
Depression mean you weak. And only weak cats get depressed, man.
Get ugly real quick, G.
Ain't no room out here for no weak cats.
Would you love me any less if I was gone?
No, I love you just the same.
Exactly.
What do you want me to do, D? You're not telling me nothing.
Damn, Pops! Why'd you leave me here to deal with this shit by myself?
Whatever you're going through, I'm going through. But you gotta talk to me, baby, if you want me to help you.
Hey, Darius, I ain't gonna make it home.
Incredible work.
Thank you. And then shout out to Elise Neal. I don't know if you noticed that she's also in the film.
Mm-hmm.
She's a well-known 90s, actress, and she came and did a phenomenal job for us as the main character's mom. So.
Question.
Yes.
If you could have lunch with any actor,
my gosh.
any actor in the world, who would it be?
Oh,
and why?
My gosh. My favorite actress is, well, I have two, but Angela Bassett. She's just iconic and just underrated. And you can just tell from the roles that she plays that she is just, just true to herself and her craft. So she would be one. I have a million questions to ask her about, her journey of being a Black woman in this industry, because I know she's got stories. Yeah. And the other one is probably not as expected, is Vanessa Bell Calloway. I love her.
Yeah.
I just love her.
From
She's
Cleveland.
From
Cleveland.
From Cleveland.
Yeah, she did a lot of work at Caramoo.
At Caramoo, and she always shouts that out. She's always, always looking back saying, hey, shout out to Cleveland. And I have followed her career for forever. And I just think she's just a phenomenal person. I would love to get her here in a Cleveland film. Yeah.
We should work on that.
We should work on that.
Get Mike too.
Yes.
Yeah, we should work on that and see what we can come up
Mike's
with.
met her. I've met her just, kind of at film festivals and stuff. Mike actually had the opportunity of sitting on the show Saints and Sinners. Russ Parr is the director, and she's one of the main actors. So he was able to kind of, hang out a little bit.
Yeah, we should try to, do that.
Work.
Yeah, we should try to do that because we need to get back and do something together again.
Yes, I agree.
Tina, what would you say is your favorite project that you worked on, if there's a favorite?
Oh my God.
Or give me one that's for some reason is
So, A State of Mind is just kind of close to my heart. But I will say the most impactful, the one that I learned from, the one that I said, okay, I can do this, was Swing Lowe, Sweet Chariotte. We had so much going on that film. It was a training. I remember when John, D. McGee again, and I were the producers and the casting on that one. And I remember him saying, well, what about props and what about this and what about that? And he was like, the producer handles that. And we looked at each other like, that's us, So learned a lot on that set. Like I said, some of the things that I still do to this day, like make sure I call the police when we are on set, because for whatever reason, people call the police when they see filming. And we would have one time SWAT just kind of came up on us and we were like, what are they afraid of? There's people with cameras and boom, it's ridiculous. So that's one of the things that I still do to this day, make sure I have permits and, things of that nature. So, yeah.
So let's talk about, is it the Schmooze?
The Schmooze.
Yeah, the Schmooze, because you're
yes.
responsible for that. Why is that important?
Because I think that filmmaking is not an individual sport. It is not. You need a team. You need to know who the mover and shakers are. You need to make connections. We need to share information. We need to share resources. And so that's where the Schmooze came forth. And that is, it is a networking event that brings about anybody in this industry who wants to just kind of connect and share resources. I also make a point to share trailers from filmmakers that have current projects, either past or present, and just so that we know who's doing projects and we can support them, and just connect and be resources. Cleveland is a wonderful place to film. It can be its own economic generator, but we have to kind of be the ground up for that. And I am announcing on today that the next Schmooze is on August 24th, Thursday, August 24th.
Yeah, I was going to ask you. So you actually do it how many times?
Just once a year.
Just once a year.
Once a year. Yes.
And where is it going to be held at?
So this time it's going to be in the Flats. Okay. It's a place called Patterson's in the Flats. Free parking. It's a free event, and you just come down and just connect, and we have a good time.
At least I know you'll be in town for August.
I'll be in town for August. Yes, I will be here.
What excites you about being a casting director and the possibilities of your industry?
Yes, just because I do know that there is a place for that. Here in Cleveland, I do know that we can grow and we can have multi-million-dollar, not even just film, but television, where people can stay here in the city and have, thriving job and a thriving industry that keeps people here, and keeps Cleveland building. So that's one of my goals, is just to kind of, sprout this industry as much as I can. And I just love it. I love having a project and it's on paper. And people have no idea. I get people all the time be like, I know you're the producer, but what exactly did you do?
Yeah.
And there's so much, I can't even tell you how much is involved, but that seeing it on the screen at the end of it, that is just the best feeling in the world. So, yeah.
So other than travel, what else do you like to do when you're away from the film, from the screen, from the actors? I mean, what else do you like to do?
So actually, I think what makes me a good producer is that I love to read. Like I read a lot, and it's motivational fiction. Actually, I'm just reading a book by Bernice McFadden. That's wonderful. So I just love reading, and people recommend books to me all the time. Now I'm doing the Audible thing, which is different because I usually like to hold a book. But I think being an avid reader is good for your imagination. And so when I get a script from a producer, it just trains my imagination, and I can see it like on the screen. And I think that's huge when you're a producer.
So do you read scripts? Like, do people say, "Hey, Tina, I want you to read the script"?
I do, but it's hard because I have so much, and I try not to, only because people expect you to read it like yesterday. Like if someone gives me a script, and a day later they're like, "Did you read my script?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know when I'm going to get to that script."
Right.
So I try not to, just because the expectation is way too high. But of course, if I'm doing a project, the first thing I want is the script, and I go through that script with a fine-tooth comb. So
I don't like to read scripts.
Yeah.
Because I don't have time, and
it's a time thing.
I've stopped asking people to read my scripts because I remember this playwright, and I can't think of his name. He graduated from OU, big time playwright. I asked him one time about reading one of my scripts, and he was like, "I don't read scripts," and he said, "Because I just don't have time."
Yeah.
And then I said, "You know what? That's what I'm gonna tell people." Because what happens is when you win awards and you got your names out there, people say, "Hey, my brother wrote a script. Would you read it?"
Absolutely.
And then you take it and you just don't have time.
And you don't have time.
Now, depending on who the person is, sometimes I have to make allowances.
Right.
Right. I mean, you don't have the choice. Right. But I was just wondering because people take your scripts and they never read them.
Yeah,
you never hear from them.
It's a difficult thing because it is a thing about time. It's and then books too. I get a lot of books, and people read this, and I can't commit that I'm going to read your book or your script in a certain amount of time. Like I may never read it. So, but if we're working together and we,
I mean, there are people that if they ask you to read the script, you're gonna read it. You don't, know what I'm
But
saying.
I get all of that. I get the, let me tell you about my life story. I think it should be a documentary, or can you film my life? Or, I get a lot of requests.
Right, sure.
So, but congratulations to you on your script.
Thank you. Yeah, Longwood is taking
awesome. I've been following your journey on that. So that's
Longwood
amazing.
is, you might be casting Longwood.
I love it. Hey, that's what I'm talking about.
So tell me what's your
and my family is I was raised down the way. So my sisters and brother graduated from East Tech.
All right.
And we lived in Longwood.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, you lived in Longwood, because I graduated from East Tech.
Okay, yeah.
So what's your next project, babe? What you doing?
You know what? I don't know my project usually until it
Somebody
lands
lands
on
your
my desk.
Okay.
But I'm just kind of putting this in the universe because I really want to do a real budgeted film. And so one thing that I'm doing right now is actually looking for the money to do just a big production here, here in Cleveland, the way I would want to do it. So that utilizes the Film Commission incentive credit and everything. And, we can fly actors out and have, just a full crew, that type of thing. And I have to do the skeleton crew thing. So that is my goal. And
that's achievable.
I'm saying that here and now that by next summer we're gonna do a big budgeted film here in Cleveland. So
I believe it's gonna happen.
Yeah, I'm determined. I'm ready.
Hey, it might be Longwood.
Hey, I love that. I love that. I feel like a personal connection to Longwood. I'm like I lived in Longwood.
Yeah. So. And I always say if you didn't live there or live near there, you don't understand.
You don't know.
You understand? And
But it was family, you know, back then. I have so many friends that, you know, we lived in Longwood together. The couple that we are having the schmooze at this year in the flats are people that we grew up with in Longwood. So.
Yeah, and I was in and out of Longwood when I was coming up because I lived on 43rd and Cedar, and all my friends lived in the projects down on Longwood, and that's where we were. Yeah. They changed it to Arbor Park, but we still call it Longwood.
It's still Longwood.
So we're going to make that happen, Tina.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I enjoyed myself.
I did too. I want to thank my special guest, Tina Hobbs, for hanging out with us today on Creative Focus. So that's it, Cleveland. We're out. But remember, a true artist is not only inspired, but inspires others. I'm Cornell Calhoun III for TV20 and Creative Focus. Until the next time becomes our time, be well, be safe.